Hello, I'm Bruce Perry, the founder of Integra Law Group. With over 30 years of experience in practicing law, I know one thing to be pretty much universally true. Whether rich or poor, young or old, most people are not comfortable talking about estate planning. The reason, of course, is understandable. It involves thinking about our death or incapacity and wondering whether our family will be protected. But I also know two other things. First, we all have an estate plan, whether we know it or not. Unfortunately for some people, it will be an arbitrary plan the state provides for us by default, whether or not it's what we want. And second, with proper planning, there's so much that can be done to ensure our families and our property are protected. So with that in mind, let's spend a couple minutes thinking about the estate planning strategies that might be right for you. To begin with, you really do need a will. At a minimum, a will lets you decide who has the authority to deal with your financial affairs after your death, who will be guardian of your minor children, as well as who gets what property and whether outright or in trust. Again, these decisions will be made whether or not you have a will. So why not take the time to make the choices that reflect your thoughts and goals? There's too much at stake for your family to leave these things to chance. Even people who understand the need for a will often say all they want is a simple will, and maybe that's all you need. But to know whether that's the case, we need to first look at your financial as well as your family situation and determine what concerns you have. In many cases, the end result is what I call the not-so-simple estate plan. For example, do you have minor children? Obviously, you need to name a guardian to protect them. We can also create a trust for their benefit until they are old enough to manage their property. Do any of your children have special needs? Even if your children are now adults, are any of them dealing with special circumstances, such as drug or alcohol dependency, that might make it unrealistic for them to manage money? Are any of them in financial difficulty, so that property distributed to them would just end up going to their creditors? Are any of them divorced or have children from a second marriage? Are you in a second marriage? These are all real-world problems that exist all too often and that won't just go away. They need to be dealt with as best we can. And the beauty about planning is there are tools that can help. For example, a properly drafted trust can go a long way to addressing many of these issues. Another concern for some people is avoiding probate. By establishing and funding a living trust, you can avoid probate. The question is whether or not it makes sense to do so. Of course, that depends on your situation. The important thing is to look at all of the issues and planning opportunities so you can make the decision that's right for you and for your family. And don't forget about planning for life insurance as well as IRAs and other retirement plans. Are they consistent with your overall estate plan? For example, who should be the beneficiary? What happens if the beneficiary predeceases you? What are the income tax ramifications of how the proceeds are distributed? These are all questions that we can help answer. But let's move on to another subject. What happens if you suffer an accident or illness and become incapacitated? Who can make financial decisions on your behalf? Who can make medical decisions? What about end-of-life issues? No one likes to think about these things, but maybe someday you will be glad you did. Proper estate planning includes preparing the necessary documents to deal with these issues in whatever way you decide best. Another issue that many people never adequately plan for is long-term care. Do you have long-term care insurance? Do you know what type of policy you should buy? Are you concerned about the cost of a nursing home, possibly exhausting all of your assets, something that does happen all too frequently? Is there any Medicaid planning that should be done for you, or maybe your parent, to protect assets to the extent the law allows? These are all multifaceted questions that really need to be considered, and we have the knowledge to help. At Integra Law Group, we understand how to put together an estate plan that's right for you. I know how easy it is to procrastinate, but please contact us. There's no charge for a consultation to discuss your concerns and talk about estate planning strategies that may best meet your needs and that will protect your family.